Spoiler time. Yes. What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday, or as I like to call it, New Comic Book Day Eve and Hawkeye Finale Eve. What is going on? Two amigos are joining me today, so let's bring them out. Don't want to leave them out too long today. Let's bring out Mr. FaceTime. He's wearing a hat. He's got a Christmas tree. He's all festive. What's going on?
What's going on, bro? Yeah, we're still festive. We got real festive yesterday for the Christmas show, so we're gonna continue it today. Just keep it going through the holiday.
Nice. And if you missed it, Comic Kingpin, 7 p.m. They did their Christmas special show last night, so make sure you guys go check it out on the Rewind. Speaking of Comic Kingpins, let's bring him out. He's not as festive as yesterday. He's not wearing a Christmas sweater. He's not wearing lights.
I know, right?
But he's still BC. What's happening?
Yeah, yo, I could pull it out at any time, man. I am ready. If you want, we do this. But
yeah, I remember saying that to girls in college. Yeah,
this guy, look at this guy.
Yeah.
But
whoa, that's how that Me Too movement got started.
But yo, last night's show was a blast, man. Ozzy was there, Neighbor to the North, Moonlit, actual Drac. We had a great time, man.
Hell yeah.
I wish we could have gone on longer, but man, it would have been Spine Ticks 2.0 and yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might run into some copyright infringement or something like that on Spine Ticks, but
no. But speaking of
Get that
copyrights,
trademark lawsuit.
speaking of copyrights, I'm staying hydrated today. I'm just letting you know. Everybody's got to know.
What kind of water is that?
Kirkland. This is Kirkland. That's right.
What kind you got there, BC?
The Sani.
Oh, okay.
You're killing me. Well, so I want to let everybody know, obviously this is a spoiler show. I mean, most of us have seen it opening day, Friday or Saturday. People that are usually kicking it with us saw it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I got a few messages from people saying, hey, noob, I'm not going to make it because I'm going to see the movie tomorrow, or I'm going to go see the movie on Sunday. And that's totally fine. It's totally respectable. Just know, this is a spoiler show. Just know 6 channels have already talked about this. So
more.
It probably won't be new. Just so you know, 95.9% of the movie's already been spoiled. So I'm not really doing disloyal. I just want to talk about it with the chat. I want to get in some discussions. I want to talk with the guys.
Yeah,
That's
man.
pretty much it. So please, like Michael Baker is saying, don't be that guy or lady or him, her, his, her, whatever 2021 you want to identify yourself as. Don't come here and complain about it. Just don't watch. That's it. It's that simple. I don't like Vampire Diaries or,
Liar.
What is it? Chicago Med. But guess what I do when it's on, when my wife turns it on? I walk away. I don't watch it. It's that simple, right? So you don't got to watch the show. Nobody's got a gun towards you. We're just going to be discussing a few things that we kind of pointed out from the movie. Really quickly. Don't get into it because I know, well, me and Face will probably have to come back in 20 minutes if we let BC carry on. But
yep.
Out of 10, what are you giving the movie? BC,
am I going first?
Yeah, because if not, we're gonna be here 35 minutes. Just quickly, just give a number, man.
Straight up, I give it a 10, yo. And I know everyone's gonna say, okay, you're being biased. It's your favorite character, but out of all the movies in the MCU, I put it in my top 2.
Okay. Face, same question. What do you give it out of 10?
I would give it a solid 9. I think it's definitely really good. It's one of the top MCU movies. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best MCU movie, but it makes the top 5 for sure.
All right, I'm gonna probably break the internet. Well, probably not. Well, first I have to break the internet. Jake Paul.
Oh, again.
I'm challenging you. So YouTuber to YouTuber, I'm challenging you. Anyway, I did that on Sunday. I think I'm going to continue to do that because if I can get a fight with them and make $5 million, I'm okay with it.
I'm in his corner if this happens.
I mean, I'll probably have a broken jaw and shit, but you know what I mean. $5 million.
Who wants to pay $5 million to see Newbie get knocked out?
Yo, Newbie's gonna be gassed getting to the ring,
bro. Right.
Hey, remember, at 14, I had a brown belt. I was in karate. So.
Yeah. But that's because you put it in the wrong mode. Your white belt went with the colors.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm gonna break the internet, and I'm actually with Empire here. I think the movie was an 8.5. There was a lot of stuff in that movie where I was like, all right, let's build on this, or too much here. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's go. Or it was just like not realistic. Like we'll get into it, but like, yeah, there was just one scene that really stood out, like the fight scene with like Goblin in the apartment, where like Goblin is just throwing him through like 4 floors, and I'm like, man, that's some weak foundation. Like,
you just finished saying that a comic book movie is not realistic. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know. I'm just saying. Well, anyway, let's start the show. Because we are gonna have a lot of fun with it. I'm excited to know what the chat says. It's funny though, because anytime there's a movie, myself, you guys, the chat, everybody's like, oh man, it's definitely my top 10. It's definitely my top 10. And we never asked that question. All right, what movie did we take out of the top 10 to put this one in the top 10?
Well,
it's a great movie, but we also know that there's other movies coming. So, it's fun to see that everybody's like, oh, this is in my top 10. And then another movie comes out and they say the same thing. So
I skipped to the chase. I went top 2. Infinity War for me is still number 1, and Spider-Man comes in number 2, yo.
Wow.
Yep.
Iron Man number 3 is still number 7. Just so you guys know.
Hopefully.
In worldwide and in anything, in sales and all that, it is still number 7. So just so you guys know.
Okay.
Before
there was an accident, I'm telling you.
Fuck. Come on. All right, before we get started, let's kick it off. There's a lot going on in the YouTube world today. So, just like Sunday, we're starting a little bit low, but that's okay, man. Let's just talk. Dan's getting the gold. What's going on, Dan? How you doing, man? Newbie's getting silver. You're really getting the silver. Jacob, you're getting the bronze. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Empire, like I said, what's happening, brother? Nice to see you here. Uncanny Swag, what's happening, man? Miguel, hey, everyone. Happy Spider Christmas to you all. Likewise, yes, the last show before the holidays. And I actually have an announcement at the end of the show, so stay tuned. Yeah, it's going to be good. Michael Baker, yeah, don't be that guy that comes into the spoiler show and complains about spoilers. What's up, man? AOA, how's it going? Logan, so the Green Goblin got his vaccine. Does that mean we're leading into the Red Goblin coming? Yeah, makes sense. Like, it makes sense. It makes sense. You're not wrong. So
Cosmic Carnage.
Yeah, Cosmic Carnage. Marissa, how are you? Dasani is a Coca-Cola swamp juice.
It is. It's the way I like it too.
Oh, jeez. 3 times. What's going on? Just cruise.
But that Desiree though. That's top notch.
That's the one right here.
All right. Let's see. AOA is saying a 9.8 easily. Empire saying 8.5. Second highest domestic weekend box ever. Yeah, it says it all. The music didn't match some of the more dramatic scenes. Dude, I actually agree with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I understand the hype, but I wouldn't give it more than an 8. Yeah. Take Shang-Chi out of my top 10. It's an interesting thing, man. I'm gonna have to go back and see my top 10 to see which ones I'm gonna be taking out. So, all right. Well, let's get started. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, man.
Okay, because I've been pretty good. I haven't posted anything, nothing. So here we go. Everybody past this point, it's all spoilers. So please don't come in here. Go do something else. Play Jenga, play Truth or Dare Jenga, go for a walk, paint in a coloring book, watch the Eagles play, do something. Just don't complain. All right.
I'm down for Jenga, bro.
Let's get it started. First up, Daredevil is in the MCU. Yes, he is. Now, the funny thing about this is, through the trailers that we were getting, obviously, the 3 trailers that we got, everybody was kind of pointing to that scene where Tom Holland is at the police station and he's getting questioned, and then that person slams the book or books or whatever, and everybody thought that was him. Wrong. That's not him. That was just another cop. Charlie Cox's character is actually at his house. He's talking to Aunt May and Happy, and they're talking. the one thing that obviously stood out for everybody, and I mean, I don't know about you guys, I'm Latin. Latin people get excited for a lot of things. But if I was sitting at a table and a brick comes out of the window or through the window, and my lawyer, who is blind, catches it,
oh Dios mío, diablo.
They were pretty calm for what had happened. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I was even watching that, looking at my wife, being like, "The fuck, right?
Yeah,
like, how are they not
though.
like what?"
Yeah.
And even Tom Holland, when that happened, he was just kind of like, just gave a weird look.
He was ready for it though.
Yeah, he was, because he went like that, but he got it. So it was just weird. So we kind of already established the fact that this character is in the MCU. He's taking on that, that role as a lawyer. Now, this is the only time we see him, right? Is this like 20 seconds. And, he basically gets Tom Holland out of, what's going on because he was going to get charged. So he gets him off. And that's pretty much it. We just get him for about 20, 25 seconds. And there's nothing really in the conversation that leads you to think anything else. Like there's no, you can't kind of dissect the conversation they have to get any spoilers or anything like that. So it's just, him being a lawyer, 20 seconds, catches the brick, and that's that.
Yeah. So before this even happens, though, something huge happens in the movie, and I'm shocked you didn't start the show this way. But Aunt May breaks up with Happy.
Oh my God, yes.
It was devastating. Poor Happy, bro. My heart went out to Happy. But
yeah, Aunt May was out of Happy's league anyway.
Sorry?
I said Aunt May was out of Happy's league anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
Yo, it's what's on the inside, man. Come on.
But Marissa Tomei is she's gorgeous. I have a thing for Marissa's, guys. But so this particular scene was badass. The whole theater erupted. I don't know about you guys, chat. This entire movie had the Infinity War / Endgame feel to it, and it's exactly as people said it would be. It was exactly that. Crowd was going nuts. They saw Charlie Cox. They're like, oh my god, ovation. But when he caught the brick, I was like, holy shit. And then he just looks at him. He's like, how'd you do that? And he's like I said, I'm a good lawyer. And I was just dying, man. I found that hilarious. Charlie Cox in the MCU. I don't know if this is going to be in continuation from the Netflix series or not. Who knows? Clearly, we've got Kingpin as well. You guys all know this. So it seems that way. The timing of this movie couldn't have been better with everything that's going on in the MCU as well. So I expect, obviously, to see more of him. You got Echo, Kingpin, Elektra is something that you and I were talking about not too long ago. It's bound to happen. It is bound to happen. They will go that route. Yeah.
Man, I haven't got my copy of 168 yet. Relax. Calm down. Let's, Also, anybody watching, just know this is a Spider-Man No Way Home spoiler. The fact that BC ruined Hawkeye for you, that's on him. So send your hate mail to
you
him.
had more time to watch Hawkeye than you did Spider-Man. So.
Do not send it to me. Send it to BC.
Plus, we ruined it last night if you watched it. I don't give a shit. But but it's it's awesome, dude, to see him in the MCU. Theater went apeshit. I'm excited to see where this goes. Seeing him. Now we're gonna get She-Hulk as well very soon. So we got two badass lawyers in the MCU, and it is funny that in the OG Daredevil movie, what's his name? I totally blanked out on the guy who plays Happy. What's his name again? Favreau.
Yeah.
He's actually playing Matt Murdock's best friend.
Oh.
In the original Daredevil. So
what?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What the hell are you talking about?
In the original Daredevil movie.
Oh, you're talking about the Ben Affleck one.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Okay.
He plays Froggy.
Right. Okay.
No, that's not Jon Favreau.
Yeah, it is.
Sure?
No. That is somebody else. Isn't it?
Lies.
Is it? Are you sure?
Yeah, I
don't even remember anymore, man. It's been so long.
I'm pulling it up.
Hold up. Dude, like
the
movie
you could be right, man. It's just I don't want it to be him.
The movie
It's
came out
fun.
like
No,
what,
he's fun,
98?
bro.
That's the last time
Yeah,
I
it's
seen
been
that
so
movie.
long since I've watched it. God, it's so bad.
So Ben Affleck. Hold up.
Please don't be happy.
I'll find the picture, but it is a funny coincidence. Here, look.
Right? That's crazy. I didn't even put it
Oh
together.
shit. Yeah, it is.
I've
Wow.
seen it so few times, man. I never even noticed that. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
That's nuts. Yeah.
Cool, right? So I
Right?
found it funny how when Charlie Cox looks at him and he's like, "You're gonna need a good lawyer." You know what I mean? So that stood out to me. I was like, and he was putting emphasis on it. I'm like, it's true, yo. Didn't he play fucking Daredevil's partner and shit?
Wow. Look at that. BC doing his research, man. Holy shit.
I
You
told
know, one thing that's actually funny, and I didn't touch on it, but you did, is well, Empire actually said it best. It was a perfect sequence because we got Kingpin. Kingpin came on Wednesday, right? In Hawkeye, and then the movie comes out on Thursday. So it was just perfect. It was timed perfectly.
Yep.
With everything saying.
Yeah, it seems
Now
like
with
it had to be planned, right? Come on.
Yeah.
They definitely
Now with
did
that
out.
with that said, too, do you guys think it's, and I don't want to get out of, I don't want to get off topic because this has been a hot topic for like 2 days. Okay. But Punisher just dropped. Obviously, doesn't have the skull, like the original skull. Everybody's going ape shit. But do you see a pattern here? Right? Like we got Kingpin, then we got Daredevil in this movie. Punisher's getting some heat right now. In this street level world, you're gonna need a Punisher. You're gonna need Elektra. So those two books,
Yeah.
If you're maybe on the fence about buying those books, if those are books you wanted, get ready because those two books are probably gonna explode and go up in the near future. So you might want to get them now.
Yeah.
Hey, newbie, just a real quick sidebar on the Punisher thing. So I know a lot of people, I'm seeing it all over Instagram and everything like that, like people tripping out about that new Punisher symbol and everything. But if you read the synopsis for the
Which
story
people
that's coming
don't.
out,
Which
right?
people
Like the thing is though, if you read the synopsis, so in the story, for some reason, the Punisher is like, I guess, an assassin for the Hand. So it's probably some kind of mind control or brainwashing or some shit where he's working for the Hand, which, he had that symbol has like a, kind of that martial arts and the mystical type of, feel to it, that hand symbology to it. So it probably really is just a temporary thing while he's, under the control of the Hand. And then it's going to revert back. So I think people are probably overreacting to this symbol.
And it's like in high school when you start hanging out with like the cool kids or like a new group of people and like, I don't know, they all wear hats and you've never worn a hat. So then like the next Monday you come wearing a hat and then they're looking at you and then you're like, hey, wait a minute.
Dreads. You end up with dreads.
Or you end up with dreads. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
But yo,
I'm not sure this analogy is the same at all, but we'll just go with it.
Guys, let's get back to the movie for a second. Because Nubi, you were saying that originally people thought that Charlie Cox was the guy that was talking to Peter Parker when he was getting interrogated. What do you think about the Department of Damage Control? Because there was one particular line that was said in the movie that stood out to me. And they even put emphasis on Peter Parker's face. Like he was like confused when the guy that was interrogating him tells him that Nick Fury's been off planet for a year. Now, if you look at the timeline of this movie, basically, this movie takes place right after Far From Home.
Yeah.
So he was just dealing with Nick Fury.
Yeah. I think that just kind of emphasizes and kind of opens the door to the whole secret invasion thing and the fact that, we don't know anything about Skrulls outside of the Captain Marvel movie, but that was also taking place in like 92 or 94, right? So, we kind of have to take that into consideration as well.
But that's what I'm getting at is because clearly Peter Parker doesn't know that Nick Fury's been away for a year, but this guy somehow knows. So do you think he is a shapeshifter? The guy that is working for the damage control, is he a Skrull?
Yeah, it could be, man. That could be. I'm interested to see how they bring the Skrulls in now because anybody could be a Skrull, right? So that's the That's the weird
Are you
part. You got
paranoid motherfuckers are
multiverse.
just
You got
seeing scrolls everywhere now?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is if like Peter Parker himself did not know that he's been out for a year and he looked puzzled, how the hell does that guy know? That's my question.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. You know what else is interesting? The fact that, and I only know this because I had 5 copies, and I had them on my eBay, or I had them on eBay. I don't, own eBay. I had them in Facebook Market, and these were spiking. Web of Spider-Man, that green cover, first appearance of the armored Spider-Man. A lot of people were going nuts saying, oh my God, that's the armor, or it's probably him and Venom and this and that. The Venom stuff kind of went away. Few people kind of went back to, it being that armored Spider-Man. It was not. So if we watch the movie, somebody throws paint at him, green paint. He can't get it out. So what does he do? He puts the suit inside out because he's only got that one suit. And we'll touch on that a little bit later. So he's wearing.
He just walk around with paint on the suit.
I don't know, man. But yeah, it's just funny to me how sometimes we read too much into something and some spec books just turn out to be nothing. So again, Web of Spider-Man 100 being the body armor. I mean, I kind of had a feeling like I thought it could be something, right? When I saw this in the trailers, I'm like, oh, that's probably the body armor, or maybe just some special suit he gets from like Doctor Strange. But other than that, I mean, I didn't really make too much emphasis on this. I didn't really buy it, but it makes sense because I sold like 5 copies when the trailers dropped because people were thinking it was this one, right? So
it's funny because it's it's like those people you make fun of that they flip their underwears inside out so it lasts them a little longer. But okay, just because you're using this particular image, I found, because I see Electro in the background, how badass was it that the electricity made up the OG mask? I absolutely loved it. But the this particular suit, we knew about this info prior to the movie even coming out. It was spoiled everywhere, man. I was seeing it everywhere that apparently someone like sprays paint on his suit and he ends up flipping it inside out. So I was like kind of bummed when I saw it actually happen in the movie. I'm like, oh, okay, so the spoiler was right already. So
yeah, I mean, the rumors were out there beforehand that was exactly what it could have been. And you know what? Even if it was like the Iron Spider suit or something else, it still would have just been like, they were going to use it for a couple minutes in the movie or whatever, and then some shit would have happened that it would have got destroyed or wouldn't be usable anymore. And by the end of the movie, he's going back to the regular Spider suit moving forward anyway. So it would have just been a cool little nod to it, and we would have moved on past it. Anyway, even if it had showed up, I really don't think it really does a whole lot for the books. I mean, they might see another quick spike for a minute again, but they would fall off real quick afterwards anyway.
Listen, that was $1 book for the longest time, and I was selling them for like $25, right? So
yeah,
well, it should have been more than $1 anyway. I mean, we should have some more respect for Spider-Man than that, damn it.
and that particular cover, because I tend to find it actually really nice. I have quite a few copies too, but had nothing to do with
holograms are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I always liked that Spider-Man. When I was introduced to that Spider-Man from the cartoon, I always liked that Spider-Man because if you guys remember when that multiverse thing happened in the cartoon, that's the one Spider-Man. Like, he's rich, he's like a hero. Some people, everybody knows who he is. He's got like this hot MJ wife, I think. I can't remember who, but like he seemed to pretty much in his world have it all. And I always thought, oh man, that's so cool. Plus the suit was like black and gray, it was a little different. I thought, damn, that's kind of cool. So
if I'm not mistaken though, not to get to the end of the movie just yet, but I think he ends up with about 4 suits in this movie. You have the nanotech one, you have this one. When Doc Ock gives him back the suit, it goes with the gold on it. So there was that one, and then at the end of the movie, we'll
touch on that. We'll touch on that.
But it's just to say, like in this movie, he had like 4 different designs. It's crazy.
Yeah. You know what else is crazy?
Spidey has more suits than Iron Man.
Yep.
This was crazy. The fact that we all thought it was gonna be a lot of Doctor Strange. However, it turned out to be Doctor Strange had the same screen time. And actually, it turns out he does. I think he only has about 60 seconds, 80 seconds more Doctor Strange in this movie than actually Robert Downey Jr. did in the second movie of Spider-Man. So again, we get that whole, Spider-Man having someone to rely on, someone to kind of help him. However, Doctor Strange is, well, we find out that, and we talked about this in Sunday's show, and the only comment that we made was, we find out that Wong is actually the supreme Sorcerer Supreme. It is not Strange. Also, we're reminded that Strange doesn't have the time stone anymore, right? Because Peter's like, hey, can't you just reverse time? And he's like, no, Peter, I don't have the stone anymore, remember? So they kind of talk about that as well. I think it's key, the fact that they brought up the fact that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, what he's doing in Shang-Chi fighting people, if he's a Sorcerer Supreme, I don't know. Maybe the rent went up. You've seen gas prices nowadays. They're just expensive. So who knows?
Yeah, everybody got to make money somehow.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to see this relationship kind of happen with Strange and Spider-Man. Basically, throughout the movie, Spider-Man kind of puts him away, but I almost found like Doctor Strange to kind of be like lacking, with like some of his powers, and like when him and Peter are kind of in that multiverse thing. And, I know Peter's smart and he calculated that, he did that calculation, but like, I just was expecting more of Doctor Strange, right? It was kind of weird. He was very, Emmanuel said it perfectly. Yeah. Doctor Strange was very depowered and a bit too goofy, I thought. You know what I mean? Like,
but I feel like that was done intentionally, simply because he's no longer the Sorcerer Supreme. You know what I mean? Like, he had like a bit of a carefree attitude. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We'll see, because clearly in the trailer of what we saw, which I'm not going to shed too much light on, but things get very serious for Doctor Strange, and things amplify. But here, I feel like towards the end of the movie, like, he had to really gain control of what took place. But look, I'm going to touch base on some of the points you mentioned here. Strange isn't really in the movie much. Yeah, but I think he did more than Robert Downey Jr. in the second one, because he's in there out the gate in the beginning, or when he goes to visit him. You see him also helping to contain with the villains. The train scene, when he settles down everything into that little thing at the end of the movie. So he's way more key in this movie than I would say Iron Man was in Spider-Man 2. Not 2, sorry. Was it Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, it was 2. It was 2.
What, you sure he wasn't in Homecoming? Because 2, they're in it's Far From Home. They're in Europe.
Right.
Yeah,
No, the first one.
First one.
Yeah.
But anyways, but yeah, so Doctor Strange, dude, clutch key role, very touchy. If we're gonna get, like, can I start speaking about the end scene with Doctor Strange, or we're gonna get?
No, let's wait till the end, man. Let's wait till the end.
All right. Well,
there's more. You have the presentation.
I didn't look.
God damn.
Hold on. You sent it to me literally earlier in the week. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I can't wait. I haven't looked at it.
Look at it.
So now it's just everything's coming back to me about the movie, and I'm like, yo, I have so much I want to talk about, but I'll wait.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, whenever they put the two in the movie together, and they gave us a trailer, you knew there was going to be a little bit of a fight scene between the two for some reason or whatever.
And it was awesome, yo.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Doctor Strange did that. He did seem like he was nerfed a little bit. I mean, I don't know. You can't really put a good reason on that, because they haven't really explained as to why that was so much. I mean, it could have to do with the time stone. Could just be sort of a plot armor type of thing. It's hard to say where they were going with that, but obviously we'll get more of an explanation what's going on with Strange.
Yeah.
Down the road, because we got his movie coming. So
I'm so pumped for that. I'm more pumped for that than I was for the Spider-Man the whole time. Yeah. Well, this was called. Somebody actually called this. We actually talked about it. You know, we had heard, obviously, you know, she was, or not she. We were basically told that he can't save everybody, and well, BC. Let's see what you said like 2 months
I know
ago.
where you're going. I know where you're going. And most likely someone close to Peter dies. I don't think it's going to be Happy. I think Happy's there to stay for a little longer. I'm going Aunt May. Boom.
Wow. So yeah, you called it. Basically, you are probably a scroll or you have a time machine. But yeah, so we finally,
I have the time.
you know, we haven't seen this Peter because we've never really seen Uncle Ben for this Spider-Man. He hasn't really lost anybody, right? They don't really touch anything on his parents or anything like that. So it was bound to be somebody close. So everybody thought, oh, it's going to be MJ. No, it was, you know, Aunt May. She dies pretty brutally, I would say, by the Green Goblin. He takes her out, and then we kind of see a turn. But I'm not going to lie to you. My wife was to the left of me. Then there was another couple to the right of me. And
all three of you were crying.
No. Like the chick right to my right. No, my wife could care. My wife's like, you know, she's like, who's this? Right. She just went to support me. Like she doesn't, you know, she's not really invested in them. I was not crying. I was like, damn. But the girl beside me was bawling. Like just, yeah, like, you know, it was kind of annoying. But yeah, so Aunt May, she's gone. A few people were picking up ASM 400. If you saw on, you know, some stats were showing that a lot of these books were selling. BC, you picked up a few copies because some deaths do matter. So yeah, Tom Holland goes nuts after this. He almost kills Green Goblin. Obviously doesn't. But yeah, now we officially have Peter Parker alone. He does not have his mentor, Tony Stark. Nobody remembers him. Right. That's kind of for a little bit later. And then Aunt May, his family, is gone. So he's basically alone.
Yep. And dude, she dropped the line in the movie that we've been anticipating for the longest time. Now, and if I'm not mistaken, she even dropped it the OG way, like straight out the book. Now, I want to touch base on a few things related to Aunt May, but I don't know how far I can go into the movie. But regardless, first of all, William Dafoe killed it, absolutely killed it as Goblin. It's crazy. I was even talking with Vancouver Comic Junkie, and he said the same thing. He said your movie is only as good as your villain, and he absolutely destroyed it. I feel like he did a phenomenal job. The death scene, the entire fight, I found it amazing. I found it incredible. All the villains. Jamie Foxx is probably the only one that it felt a bit awkward as the villain in all of the scenes, simply because I feel like it didn't fit in. It felt like Jamie Foxx was Jamie Foxx. I didn't feel like we had Electro. You know what I mean? It was a different feel. But sorry, Goblin, from the second he breaks his mask, which I'm gonna tie to what we were talking about Daredevil. He breaks his mask right in the alleyway, and like he was talking with it, whatever. It's kind of like a callback to Spider-Man 2. Remember with Tobey Maguire when he says he's done being Spider-Man and he puts it in the trash can, which also is like a callback to Amazing Spider-Man 50. Right? In that issue, that's exactly what takes place. And it also happens to be the first appearance of Kingpin. So just, you know, everything happening at once.
Nice. Look at that.
I know. I was just there like, I'm just trying to say something again, but it's just funny how that all ties together. Also, speaking on Goblin, I don't know how far, like I said, I can go into this, but when Tom Holland kind of looks at Aunt May at when they're at feast, and he's in there, Green Goblin with Aunt May, and she's saying like you need to help him, right? Like, and it's just typical Aunt May, like it's no one gets left behind type thing. And when Peter looks at her and he says it's not my problem, again another callback to when Tobey Maguire, the burglar, and the wrestling promoter. Those three. And it was like,
I caught that one.
yeah. And I was like, damn, man, like it's cool. It's cool to see in this timeline of Tom Holland, kind of replicating some of the things that have happened prior. Totally different universe, but minor things do stay the same. When she drops the line and finally passes, dude, it sets up Spider-Man to really become the Spider-Man. From that point in the movie to the end, I was blown away. It's you remember how prior in other shows with you guys, I said, yo, I absolutely can't stand this Tom Holland Spider-Man that we've gotten in the MCU because it doesn't feel like Spider-Man.
Yep.
As of that point on, we got Spider-Man, guys. The Spider-Man in the MCU. And that's how I felt. The line came out. He loses his shit. Everything starts to unfold.
And so what? You just needed the Uncle Ben moment to validate him as Spider-Man?
No, I didn't need that particular moment to validate him as Spider-Man, but it kicked off the start of him going into full swing Spider-Man. Because up until then, and I complained all the time. I said I don't understand how Aunt May, she knows that he's Spider-Man. Everybody knows. Like it was just frustrating, right? For the first two movies, because you couldn't see where they were going with this. For myself, it was just frustrating. I'm like, I don't feel like we have Spider-Man. But this movie closes everything, all the loose ends. I find it closed all the loose ends. Characters, even from the other universes, you get closure, and they also leave the door open for possibilities there, which we'll dip into later. You know what I mean? But I just felt like as of that point where he finally lost something, and then as the movie progresses, he even has to make sacrifice. We get the Spider-Man, and I'll get into it further as we go along in the show. But I just found this to be awesome. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. Like, it was cool to get the line, obviously.
Martha.
Him losing Aunt May, it's very different to me. See, because like I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum for the from BC. I think we're, while I love the movie and everything, I think Peter right now is, as far as character development, is further away from Spider-Man than he's ever been. Just because, like, Spider-Man's always had, he's had some kind of supporting cast there with Mary Jane, Aunt May, his friends, the other Spider family around him, and the MCU version of Spider-Man right now, he's alone. Like, he has no one. It's just like a completely different take on Spider-Man. So, it'll be interesting to see where they go with him, from here.
Yeah, but like you said, total loner came with the decision of the ultimate sacrifice. It's weird because we're getting a young Peter Parker with the One More Day storyline, which is way later on in the timeline in comics, right?
Yep.
But there's no Mary Jane to pin the other half of that storyline to either.
Well, he technically did have to sacrifice that, which we're gonna get to, right?
Sort of, yeah.
We are.
But like I said, we'll break it down as we get along the show, and then if I feel like we missed anything at the end, we'll go over it in a full.
Absolutely.
But all this to say, I feel like he actually became Peter Parker. He's a loner now. He literally has nobody. Yes, he's always had Aunt May. You know what I mean? And I do agree with you on that point, because it does feel weird that now he has no Uncle Ben, no Aunt May. You know what I mean? He's got nobody.
Yeah, it's just different for him to not have that, supporting cast behind him, but it's interesting so far. So
yeah.
Yeah. All right. The biggest part of the movie was probably this. Not this scene in general, but when we finally get, yes, the rumor that we've all been spoiled with for about 3 to 6 months now. The fact that all 3 Spider-Men were going to be in it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Before COVID, I used to travel a lot. My wife traveled a lot. We've been on planes and stuff, and sometimes people clap. And that's okay because you're landing. You're saying yes, like we made it, I'm still alive. That was the first time my wife had actually been in a movie theater and people were clapping, and she's like, what the, like, because I looked at her, I could see her head looking at me, and she's like, what the fuck is going on here? And I was like, oh, people just clap. Like, that's all I said. I was like, oh, people just clap. And like, even after the movie, she's like, what the fuck, why are people clapping, right? But I guess it was just, excitement, right? There were some scenes, in Endgame where, people clap and things like that too. It happened, everybody was excited, but it was one of those parts where, that was dope. Like, that was really dope to see. Me personally, I've always liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and say what you will, I just always liked that part. I'll be honest, if I was one of the Spider-Men, like if I had to like basically pick like who represents more of my personality, I would say it's Garfield. Like, there was just scenes where I would like that, when he's hanging on the wall and he's like, what? I'm not gonna fucking crawl. Like, that's literally me. Like, that's how I would have answered it.
But I find he's funny.
Yeah, right. Toby was more of the like the mature, like you could tell, right? Like, they were going for like he's been through shit. He had mentioned that he had a family, and he has I think he said he had kids and stuff like that. But
I didn't hear that.
No, so he's a little bit older. They were trying to basically paint that picture, right? And
Yeah,
obviously,
I love how they brought back the reference of his back again. And when the Andrew Garfield's like cracking his back, because remember in Spider-Man 1, he like falls, he hits his back. My back. Oh, my back.
Yeah, it was other. Mike, hold on a second. Michael's saying when they no, you know what was the loudest clap that I've ever seen in a movie was when in Endgame, where Cap is like he hears Falcon for the first time, and Falcon's like, on your left, and then like all the people come out. That was probably the loudest I have ever seen.
I wanna agree, but when what's his name, Ned opens the portal, which, guys, that's fucking weird, right? Like, when the hell did he become a sorcerer, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll I hope we'll talk about that at some point. But so he opens the portal magically towards like Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, doesn't bring in some random person, right? Like, you gotta be knowing what the fuck you're doing there. But anyways, when the crowd sees Andrew Garfield, you just hear everybody like he's at a distance, and the whole theater's like, and then as he runs in and pops in, yeah, everyone's going crazy. But hold up. Tobey Maguire comes through, bro. People were throwing their chairs, popcorn, and everything. They were going bananas, man. It was insane. So I want to put it at the same point as when Cap picks up the.
No, you know what? I take that back. The loudest clap, and I'm not just saying this. The loudest clap was at the end of Endgame, where they have all the characters, and then they show Iron Man, and then they end it, and like that's it. Like, that is literally the movie. That was the loudest I've ever seen people clap and stuff. So, just saying.
But anyways, okay. So touching just on these 3 together, I loved everything about it. From the fact that, like, we'll start with, let's say, just them in the lab. We get the Spider-Man pointing at each other scene in the lab.
Basically. Yeah.
When Ned's like, Peter, and they're all like Peter, Peter.
And he's like, the funny thing was he was like Parker.
Peter Parker.
And they're like, we're all Peter Parker.
That was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. But the fight scenes, them coming together, dude, the deep talks, man. Like when they talk about what they lost, and when they're the loudest club. Yeah, of course. But what was I saying? Andrew Garfield, the deep talks.
Got BC all confused,
Yeah, with him, Toby Maguire. When they're saying they each lost someone, the Gwen thing, the Uncle Ben. Andrew Garfield openly says he even stopped pulling his punches, dude. Like, I'm curious as to what took place there. Another thing that is weird, um, what's it called? Andrew Garfield claims that he never, well, not that he never did, but I'll start over. Tom Holland mentions that he fought an alien, which is obviously Thanos. Then you have Tobey Maguire state that he's also fought an alien, which was Venom, and they put emphasis that like Andrew Garfield hasn't done anything, right? Because his movies came to end at Spider-Man 2, and that was it. I kind of feel, and stop me if I'm jumping too far, they're purposely leaving the door open now that they even gave Andrew Garfield a clean slate. Hear me out.
Remember that ended pretty bad too. A lot of people don't remember that relationship ended pretty bad.
Yes. So the fact that this happened, I really feel like they did this to really give everyone a clean slate. They tied up all the loose ends on all the movies, leaving possibilities. If anyone's coming back that I do see coming back, I see Andrew Garfield way over Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And hear me out. Can I mention the post-credit scene?
Which one?
Not the trailer.
Oh, okay. No, because we're gonna talk about that.
Okay, so we'll get there. I'll just talk about the three Spider-Men together then. The action scenes were amazing when they're swinging. You see right out the gate, it's not working for them. The chemistry's not there. And Spider-Man it's just Spider-Man. And all three Spider-Man, it makes perfect sense. Why? Because they're not so good with working with other people that much. But when they're swinging and they're like, okay, we need to regroup. I'm Peter 3, you're Peter 2, Peter 1. And again, we're kind of getting the finger point scene. But when they're swinging and he literally like, there's a point where like, I can't remember which Spider-Man does it. I'm going to say it's Tom Holland, but like he grabs them as they're swinging and like flings them upwards and then they pull him type thing. Like the webs slinging at that point was absolutely insane. I really loved the fight scene. The Andrew Garfield wheel kick. We know who kicked fucking Lizard right in the head, man. Yep. Remember the whole Brazil trailer? I found the fight scenes amazing all the way to the very end, which I don't want to spoil too much because we're going to talk about other things. But I loved it, man. Seeing all three of these guys together, I felt like, oh, man, like everything came together. You know what I mean? Like, when everything works out perfect, you're like, this is beautiful. Even though we all knew it was going to happen, and I will never believe any of these guys when they say no in interviews or anything simply because
you can't.
Yeah, like fuck you guys. You guys, I want to say you got us, but you didn't get us.
Yeah, like come on.
And that Lizard kick, like that trailer when it dropped and you saw Lizard's head go sideways and you showed it on air, I was like, yo, this is confirmation 100%. And it was awesome to see, even though I knew. But seeing it for the first time on the big screen was just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think somebody made a comment in chat that it felt like it was to essentially give them closure, and I think that's a lot of what it was. I mean, they definitely left the door open for some possibilities, but I think more than anything, if we see either Toby or Andrew show up again, it will probably be in another Tom Holland Spider-Man movie if we see him at all. Sony could revisit it, but I just don't think that there's any real reason for them to go that route. They're making plenty of money with Tom Holland. They're not gonna rock that boat right now. They definitely could have him come back for a future movie. Obviously we're getting into the Spider-Verse 2, so why not a live action Into the Spider-Verse 2? So I mean, that's sort of what we got here. But yeah, it was definitely cool getting to see all three of them together. It's obviously been a fanboy's dream since the first Tom Holland movie to get all three of them together. We didn't get the fucking meme though, so
save Miguel's comment. I want to just say something after. Yeah. So Tom Holland's not going anywhere. Like I said, they set this movie up for him to be the Spider-Man in the MCU. I will touch base on what I think is going to happen with Andrew Garfield later on once we reach a certain segment. That's all I'm going to say. So stick around.
Man, if you say what I think you're gonna say, oh god.
You know exactly what I'm saying.
Before we just go to the next slide, Empire saying, how much more enjoyable do you think it would have been if we didn't see all the leaks and rumors? Honestly, that's why, like, I don't get when, you know, I understand doing a spoiler show, say like Friday morning or Friday night. I get that. You know, I always let a weekend go, sometimes a week before I do it. But I mean, for the most part, everything that was leaked, we all knew, right? Like, and it did take the wow out of it, but it was still a good movie. But that's just I just think that that's the era or where society is. I mean, not society, but like where we are as a community. I mean, there's just people that spoil it. You know, there's people in it just for money. Just want to, you know, be first to have something, and sometimes it's shitty. But yeah, it sucked. But at the same time, like, even though I knew all this stuff was happening, I still enjoyed the movie. Now, BC, I think you ruined this, so we're just gonna bypass this. But I thought it was funny. Yeah, Lizard. We finally know who kicks him. All right. Whew, man. This one, I don't know. They clearly planted the seed. However, you know, there is no Miles in this movie. There's nothing about Miles. They don't say Miles. They don't do anything. Okay. So after, so basically at the end of the movie, the fight scene, they're trying to heal all these villains so that they can go back into their universes and they don't die and they don't become evil. Once Electro is healed, he mentions that there has to be a black Spider-Man because he goes back to his world. They don't say Miles or they don't hint at him. However, the quote is, he looks, so basically, what's his name? Tom Holland is the one that he fights. So he actually like comes up to him and he's like, hey, you know, like, how are you? And they start talking. And then Jamie Foxx's character goes, man, you're from Queens, helping out the poor. I figured you'd be black. I mean, there has to be a black Spider-Man somewhere out there, right? That's it. And Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man's kind of like, yeah, right. And he just kind of like does whatever. And that's pretty much where it is. Like that's the only hint that we have. So, you know, there were some earlier rumbles that people were like, oh my God, no, Miles is confirmed and this and that. It's not. I mean, they could have said, hey man, there's probably a Latino one there, and then Aranya and you know, something else. I mean, Miles is Latin too, but you know what I mean? Like, so it could have gone either way. Are they teasing us? I think so. Will Miles come one day? Yeah, 100%. I just don't see it coming. I think this is a stretch for people to think that this is Miles, to be honest with you, but clearly they know that the community and like comic lovers want to see Miles one day. So I think that was just, you know, a respect thing there. Like, hey, you know, it's coming. Yeah. Just not right now. But again, it could have just been nothing really. So what do you think?
I think people keep overlooking the stuff that's right in front of them. And I've said it before. I'm going to highly recommend you guys just do the following. Miles already exists in the MCU. We've said this. Aaron Davis, you remember in Homecoming, he has his hand tied to the trunk and literally asks Tom Holland if he can like untie him because he has to pick up his nephew. That's hint number one.
I'm trying to find the photo, so bear with me.
There's a deleted, and you guys know Aaron Davis in Homecoming. There's the display with all of his alias information, and it even says he's known as the Prowler. Okay, this is when he's doing the exchange for that gun / whatever. He mentions that he doesn't want no guns when he's being interrogated by Spider-Man around his nephew. Again, he mentions his nephew. There's a deleted scene in Homecoming, literally where he even calls Miles on the phone, and he says, yeah, sorry, Miles, I'm not going to make it because his hand is tied to the trunk. Miles is in the MCU. So I don't know why everyone keeps speculating that a multiverse Miles is coming through. They planted the seed. It's grown. He's there. So I think if we just hang on a little more, do pick up your Ultimate Fallout Force. I know everybody's like, oh, we didn't get Miles, and then it's never gonna happen. No, it's gonna happen, dude. They've been planting it since the first movie of Spider-Man: Homecoming. You guys have to remember, Peter Parker is still young. He's registering for college, MIT, which I think we will.
We're gonna talk about that because I got a lot. I got a lot there. Yeah, I got a lot there.
Exactly.
But hold up. But on the Miles thing though, even with him, like you said, with the phone conversation and everything like that, that sets him up for being in the MCU or whatever. That still wouldn't be. I mean, because given the correlation between the MCU and the 616 universe, that would be more like the Ultimatum version of Miles than it would be the Spider-Man version of Miles.
I understand what you're saying, but Face, you made a comment not too long ago, okay, on this show, literally a few minutes ago, how this universe does not line up to the 616. The MCU is not the 616, bro. It's the MCU, but the stories do not follow everything in the 616. Who knows? Maybe Tom Holland is the Spider-Man that's gonna die.
So can I? There's a little theory that
they're not gonna kill off Tom Holland.
No, but hold on.
We're just shooting the shit.
Here's a theory that I'm working on, and if you think about it, I mean, don't be quick to judge, right? And you don't got to give me an answer right now, but just maybe this is the way they go. But in Spider-Verse, how are we introduced to Spider-Man?
You're talking about in the cartoon.
In the cartoon, the animation, the Spider-Verse, how are we introduced to Spider-Man?
He's getting a beating by Goblin. That's the first time you see him.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. And then Miles Morales sees him die.
Okay. And then another Spider-Man comes from another universe, correct?
Yes, with the belly.
Okay. Because he's like washed up and he's done, right?
Yeah, he went through hell and back with it.
I don't think we see Miles until Tom Holland is like past the college stage, which will probably be another 2 to 3 movies. Then after that, we'll probably see a Miles. Now, we'll probably get a few references from it, but I think that they'll probably stick to not the comic origin, but maybe just that movie origin, just out of respect. And they'll probably just stay there. Not to say that Tom Holland is going to be fat, but they've also just we have this multiverse and things like that. So any one of these Spider-Man can come back. If one of them, say, dies, they don't have to do it brutally, but one of them could go. If they wanted to go that route, the other one kind of like helps them out or whatever. I think that they could do that because we always, even now, we just talked about when the 3 Spider-Men showed up.
Yeah.
They always go back to the beginning. They always pay tribute to the beginnings, even with the Tobey Maguire stuff and all that. So I could see them kind of doing that. But again, I don't see Miles outside of a reference and maybe just seeing like a kid doing something. I don't really think like just walking down the street or talking to his uncle, Aaron Davis. I don't really see or think we're going to have a Miles in a suit or swinging anything for a while. So,
but it may happen sooner than we think. And it's just
it could,
because I agree, Face. It's weird, right? Because like you said, 616, Miles is not from there, right? He's from the Ultimate Universe. There's many things in the MCU that have taken place that are, pieces of different universes put into the MCU. If you look at it story-wise, technically, Infinity War should have been a totally different story. Do we agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do tend to hit certain
key points.
Yeah.
So
and I think actually, I think probably if you're gonna see one of either Andrew or Toby come back again, that's probably the best bet. They'll bring one of them back to kill him off and be the inspiration for Miles.
Possibly, but I could
see that for sure.
I don't think that the MCU would do it purposely to make that reference to Miles Morales in Homecoming, given that Prowler already references that he exists in this universe. There's got to be a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why they would tease that only to not do anything with it and then pull
I
some.
mean, just set up the anticipation mostly and everything. I
Yeah.
mean, I still think they just, it gets people excited for it because it's something that they're going to be working on down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, but exactly down the road.
Yeah. I don't think we see Miles right now. It just wouldn't make sense.
But
Yeah,
don't-
probably got a
don't-
little bit of time yet.
But don't be surprised if we see him linger, like you said. Like
Yeah,
in
and that's
future,
it.
in future movies,
Yeah.
where let's say, Prowler could be walking the streets with his kid.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
nephew.
that's what I
Nephew.
mean. That's how I see it. Or they're in a park or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's exactly how I see it. Now, two things. Empire made a comment earlier. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know if it's the Latin in me. I don't know if it's because I don't know, a good person. Maybe I have emotions. It's science, right? Like you're supposed to cry. Not to say I did cry. I mean, I told everybody. Keys can tell you, I cried when Iron Man died. That's not like bawling, but a tear. But this was, man, this was tough. This was very tough. Because you got to see this kid basically mature into an adult, basically mature right in front of our eyes, makes the ultimate sacrifice. Basically, he's got to pick fighting all these people and coming into this world and basically destroying it or forgetting it. So he makes Doctor Strange make a spell to basically everybody forget Peter Parker. This was, man, I don't know if I could have done it. Because afterwards I was thinking, I'm like, fuck, man, if that was me, I don't know if I could do that to my wife or, have that. It's the ultimate sacrifice, of course. But now we open the world to this new possibility. So there was a comment that was just made. I think AOA made it, and he said he's a genius, but he had a GED book. That's because everybody forgets who he is. Like, he technically doesn't exist. So he's got to like basically do all this studying to like basically get into college and stuff like that. That's how I interpreted it. Because yeah, he is a genius. He doesn't need it. I just think that that's kind of playing into the MIT, getting into college and all that, because yeah, he's out of high school. It's over. This is going to be a new part. The other thing too is the fact that I also believe that now, I mean, I know BC is going to give his 2 cents about Avengers and stuff like that. But the other thing that I think is that maybe Ned and MJ start dating. BC has kind of pointed out that character that plays him has kind of lost a lot of weight. So he's been bulking up. So maybe he is coming in to play a villain. Who knows? I think that maybe he's going to be the one who starts dating MJ. They start dating, and then Peter kind of just is not a fan of it. Or maybe, because Ned was a good person because he had Peter, right? And things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I totally think that they could be setting up a Hobgoblin. And we'll touch on that, I think, in the next slide. But yeah, this was very tough to see. I don't know, man. I felt bad for the kid. So yeah, thoughts?
Dude, like I said in many shows prior with you, I always said it. I said what I hate about this Spider-Man, Tom Holland, is he's a little bitch. Literally, always relying on somebody. He's never taken on the with great power comes great responsibility. Put on your big boy pants and be Spider-Man now. And that's what I meant by Aunt May dying projects him into that direction of taking full responsibility, really taking ownership, making the hard fucking decisions and doing it for the greater good. And this part, when he says goodbye to her and, she says, I love you. She doesn't even let him say it back, meaning like, you say it when you find me type thing. You know what I mean? It was massive. It's funny because the lines always come up. Even Spider-Man 2, again with Doc Ock, which I think is actually one of the better ones amongst the three with Tobey Maguire. But in that particular movie, at the end of the movie, when Doc Ock is kind of like strangling Peter and the whole portal thing is going bananas and sucking in everything. Peter Parker literally looks at him and he's like, sometimes to do the right thing, we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most, even our dreams. Again, the sacrifices, it's every Spider-Man, no matter which Spider-Man, this is the route they go. So that's why I said, Peter Parker never really put on his big boy pants until right now. Now he is Spider-Man. That's the way I see it. Things that were very interesting when all of this takes place, and then he goes to revisit her at the shop. You could tell he's antsy, like he wants to tell her, hey, it's me, and wants to take her down memory lane, or just try to get something out of her, build a relationship again, and whatnot. But she's there, and he's discussing with her. Ned's there, and I do think, yes, I agree with what you were saying, and I'll dip into that about Ned and Hobgoblin and whatnot. But when he's talking to her, she's wearing the necklace still from Far From Home. I don't know if you remember, he gives her
that
busted necklace.
One from Europe, yeah.
She's still wearing it.
The Black Dahlia.
So I find it funny how she's wearing that, has no idea who he is. What does it symbolize to her that she wears that? You know what I mean?
I think that's gonna come back, because why is she wearing it? You know what I mean? Like, but again, that's reading too much into it. But they always do that for a reason, right?
Exactly, but who knows? But the part that like hit me in the feels when I realized, you see, this is where he has to choose. Great power, great responsibility. He's making that decision, and it hits home when he looks at her and about the Band-Aid, and she's like, oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. He realized that without himself in her life, she never hurts it anymore. You understand? Like, it's like, that's exactly the message I got, because it was at that point where he looks at her and he's like, and he walks out. You know what I mean? So it was a heavy exchange for him, but she has no idea what the fuck she just told him. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I think it was great writing for their relationship. I look forward to seeing where this is going to go. I'll be honest, from the get-go, I never really liked Zendaya as MJ. It was just, it's not MJ, right? It's not Mary Jane. And I hated that they were calling her MJ. And now I see what they're doing. You know what I mean? And Face, like we were saying, it's MCU's taking bits and pieces of universes and putting it together, even making their own. So this is his MJ. It is what it is.
I think that it was getting heavier for BC than anybody, really.
No, I have a cough and I'm fighting it. I'm not fighting tears.
Yeah, no. That's what we all say, man. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But it's exactly what was written, guys. They did it on purpose for it to hit that way, right? So they succeeded,
right? And no, it was a good scene. Yeah, it was definitely emotionally impactful, and I mean, you were supposed to feel it. It was supposed to be sad and everything like that. But we pretty much knew it was coming for the most part, I think. So get the fuck over it, BC.
Yeah, no, for sure. Steve Bradley, you're putting up a comment. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about in a bit. I don't know if it's the time, but we'll wait for that.
Who? Sorry?
Steve Bradley.
I like without Peter Parker's influence and friendships, he turns to the dark side and will become Hobgoblin. Well, Steve. Yeah. So basically, when they are coming up with all these cures for all the villains, Toby tells a story about best friend trying to kill him. Hinted after that Ned could be a villain. Ned doesn't remember Peter Parker, and no one does. MJ and Ned are still friends and going to MIT. So that relationship's going on too. Now, again, like I said, if you guys take a look at the actor who plays him, he's lost a ton of weight now. He's probably going to be bulking up for a reason. Now, it could be another movie, but let's be real. It's probably for that. In the cartoon, if you guys remember, I mean, yes, Ned was that blonde rich kid, but they don't have to follow it. I could totally see them. Think about it. There's no Peter Parker. MJ and Ned are friends. They're going to the same school. Like, they're around each other. So who knows? I could totally see them having a relationship. It could happen. And then without Peter actually being there, I mean, Ned could turn. I could totally see it in a way where, like, they go to college and then, like, Peter gets in as, like, a walk-on or, one of those things. And then Ned is kind of jealous because Ned thinks that he's smarter or something like that. I could totally see them kind of doing it like that. I also see Oscorp obviously being in it as well, or some sort of, evil company, but, who knows? But definitely could see this happening. And yeah, like Vancouver saying, grab those ASM 257s.
Yep. And I just so I could show you guys. Hold on, I'm pulling a photo off of Google. Hold up, I'm gonna read that after.
Peter gave up the greatest thing in life, which is love. Crying faces, Black Crown.
Right. But yo, look at that.
Yeah.
The guy's not playing. He's not playing. He's definitely training for something, man, and he's looking good. Good for him, bro. It's totally the path they're going, and they even tease it with the whole scene between him and Tobey Maguire when he's asking him, "Hey, do you have a best friend in your universe?" He's like, "Yeah, he died in my arms," and the exchange of why and how it had Ned shook as fuck. Remember, he ends up leaving, and then he goes and see Peter, and it's awkward as hell. Like, Peter's looking at him like, "You all right, dude?" It's awesome how they had such a good friendship, and there's a reason why they did this.
Yeah.
Ned, Harry Osborn. There's no Harry Osborn in this universe. It's Ned. So I think they are going to go that route. It's going to go Hobgoblin. There is no Oscorp in this universe, and it's confirmed.
Not yet.
No, it is. It is literally. If you heard William Dafoe when he was in the soup kitchen at Feast with Aunt May, he's even telling her, his home isn't there. There's no Oscorp.
Not yet. There's no Oscorp yet.
He literally says Oscorp doesn't exist.
Right. Not yet. But
because Oscorp is in his universe, not this one.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, okay, maybe not yet. But all I'm getting at is, we thought that Tony Stark sold the Avengers Tower to either Oscorp, Fantastic Four, Kang. We've said all these theories.
Yeah.
We can now rule out Oscorp, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? True. So that's all I'm getting at there. I think that Ned, now having no longer any ties to Peter Parker, like the comments we saw in the chat, I think he ends up on a different road, and that is also something that came with the sacrifice for Peter Parker. I think that's going to be a fallout as to what transpires for Ned Leeds' life based on the decision Peter Parker had to make. You understand? So, but that sacrifice, unfortunately, this is what it's gonna cost. Yes, dude. It could be the Baxter Building. There's tons of possibilities, but like I said, we pretty much find out that it's ruled out now on being Oscorp. So I totally see this happening. The actor, you see it. You know what I mean? If you follow him, the guy's shaping up. Hopefully they go this route. I know in the comics, it's not that big of a thing. Spider-Man, Hobgoblin. There's bigger characters that could have come forth, but I'm okay with this. Like, they purposely built up their friendship for 3 movies, well, more if you the Avengers and stuff like that. But they're gonna tease this, and I do think, I'll say it now. If they end up going this route, Ned's gonna die, and when it does happen, they're gonna revisit the fact that they were best friends. And I'm telling you, that's gonna get touchy as well. If they do anything Hobgoblin related, I think that's a route they could or should go.
Just remember, if you're getting that Hobgoblin book, just make sure if it's raw, you're getting it with the tattoos.
Yeah, I think the Hobgoblin's is a pretty interesting character, and there's a lot of potential for him showing up in the future. There's definitely been some foreshadowing and everything like that. So yeah, it makes sense. They've got a pretty good setup with sending him and MJ away to MIT. Especially after now that they've forgotten that Peter is Spider-Man. That something can happen up there at MIT where him and MJ maybe start getting a little closer or whatever. Peter comes up to visit. It kind of fucks things up, and that leads right into Ned turning into Hobgoblin. So I mean, it's just kind of like a classic storyline. So who knows?
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is just to hold this comment because Carlito, I get what you're saying, but Morbius is actually in the Venom universe. It has nothing to do with the MCU.
Yeah, and we'll get to that as well.
Yeah, but yeah. Hobgoblin, I think it's something. It's a character that we all kind of have seen the foreshadowing and everything for sure at this point. So people are starting to get more and more excited about it and wanting to see it more and more. And Marvel knows these things, so yeah, it's pretty likely it's going to happen.
Yep. But I still don't understand the whole sorcery shit. Like,
yeah, me neither.
I mean,
none of that. None of that.
Yeah, got nothing on that one.
Sense. No sense.
Yeah. Well, speaking of MIT,
let's do this.
They're going to MIT. It is in Boston, obviously. They say that. If you didn't know that, there you go. I just saved you a Google trip there. So Ned, MJ, Peter wanted to go there. Parker has that scene with the GED, but I just think that that's just because he's gearing up for college and he's got to take these tests because there's no records of him, right? Nobody remembers Peter Parker. No one.
Parker's going to Empire State University, bro.
MJ and Ned are going, so I think that that's going to be very popular. Now, keep in mind, they kept referring and mentioning this school multiple times. I can't count the amount of times that they've mentioned MIT program. Some of the characters, I mean, Riri Williams, Harley, a character that I'm pretty big on. He's going to college now. In the Harley comics, he's with all these people. Andre Sims is there as well. If you don't know who Andre Sims is, I'd Google it. Specsman, he knows who that is. Because he was the one that told me about that. But yeah, just all these characters that they could do. Just keep in mind, everything connects. And there's a reason why Harley just came out in comics. There's a reason why it was a hot book. There's a reason why he was at the funeral, everything. And I think that, especially now with what happened with Ned and MJ, I think that Harley is actually going to, and I hope, what day is it today? It's December 20th, 10:53 p.m. Eastern. I want people, even if I'm not doing, YouTube by the time the movie comes out, I want to call it right now. Okay, I'm going to call it right now. I think Harley Keener is at MIT. He becomes friends with Tom Holland's Spider-Man there. They talk about the whole Iron Man thing. I think that's what brings them together. I think they become friends. I also think Felicia Hardy is probably in it. I don't think that they will probably bring in Felicia Hardy in Morbius. I think they might introduce her, I don't know, maybe as a TA or like an older student or a graduate somewhere around there. I could be wrong about that one, but the Harley Keener one, I think that that's what's going to happen. I think Harley and Tom Holland Spider-Man are going to be friends. Remember, too, I'm big on, Speedball. You can laugh all you want, but I think that Speedball is going to be around in his college years and things like that. There's a few people, but I'm calling it now. So just saying that's my call.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. They're building a team, man. But we've spoken about this for quite some time. So I totally agree. I totally see this. MIT, Ned's gonna be there. MJ, we're clearly gonna have Riri come in at some point, and Harley. I totally see this, man. And if they go this route, I'm actually super pumped to see this come to fruition, man. If all this takes place.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Peter's gonna end up going up to MIT. It's in Boston. and Peter generally works out of New York and everything like that. Peter
You know
goes
who's
to
from
college in
Boston?
New York.
You know who was born in Boston?
Who?
I don't know. I was asking.
Oh,
Jesus.
okay. No, I have no idea.
Jesus.
But yeah, no, I don't think he's gonna end up going up to MIT. I think they're just sending Ned and MJ up there for a while, so that they're kind of off the table for a minute.
Yeah.
And Peter's gonna be doing his own thing in New York.
Yeah, but the whole theory on MIT with Riri and Harley, I'm totally for that, man. And I totally.
Oh yeah, I can see some shit like that happen.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
They
And
could throw him in there and some cameos, some
But I
cameo
think it makes
shots and
sense
shit.
for them to become friends because he's going to have nobody if he goes there. And then what brings it back is the whole Iron Man thing because Harley's going to be, like I could totally see a conversation with like Tom Holland be like, oh, like what got you into this? And Harley being like, Tony Stark was like a mentor to me and helped me out. And then he's going to be like, what? And then they're just going to get, they're going to become friends like that. I really
I
think
think
like some newbie comics wishful thinking.
yeah, exactly. if we were to get something like that, I think it would be way later down the line. Like when
I'm just saying it. I'm calling it first, right? So, in 6 years from now, when people are like, I called that,
yeah, no, but
we can say it happened here.
like I said, I agree on the MIT thing. In certain characters that you're saying are going to pair up, like we just said, Riri and Harley. But I do agree with Face, and I agree with some people also in the chat that he is going to stay in NYC, man. He's a New York boy, man, and
Queens.
Yeah, New York needs Spidey. You saw, and I don't know again if I'm allowed to say the end of the
Hold
movie
on, man. Why are you focused on the end? Just
because there's so much that ties together, bro. But okay,
please,
I'll wait.
man.
But he's clearly staying in a certain area, aka a dump in New York, and he's got to pay his rent every first of the month. I hope. Oh, okay.
We'll touch here because you're getting too off topic.
No, at all. All I was saying is he's basically now in his OG suit. He's Spider-Man of in New York with the phone app, and he sees all the crime going down. I think that's going to be his commitment. You know what I mean? So I agree with Face. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, I'm committed to laughing at the whole Venom thing. I think that was a big like fuck you or like a tease.
I'm ready for this one, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I know Face is big on Venom. I know Face is big on ASM 300. I know he's probably got like 500 copies.
I wish.
But Venom, ladies and gentlemen, is back in his own universe. So the fact that in the end of Venom, which a lot of people said that was the greatest movie ever, also the same people that said Eternals was terrible. That's a story for another day. But anyway, at the end of Venom 2, obviously, if you don't know, I mean, it's been like 2 months now, I think. But Venom is brought into this multiverse, and then we see the TV screen with Tom Holland, and then Venom licks it. In this movie, at the end, they're at a bar. Tom Holland is drunk. He's making fun of Iron Man. He's making fun of Hulk. He's making fun of Thor. And I believe Captain America. I can't remember. And then the multiverse with the spell that Doctor Strange does kind of brings him back, right? So that is the sign that Venom, Tom Hardy, is back in his universe. He's not in the current universe. So where we go from that, who knows? Are we going to see Spider-Man and Venom? Who knows? However, the thing that everybody was kind of really pumped for was the fact that as he goes back, there's a little piece of Venom that's left over, and then it starts moving, and then the movie ends, right? So that was the end credit, which has made people like BC, go and add books of the black suit and all that. So Secret Wars 8, Marvel Team Up 141, Amazing Spider-Man 252. All those books have seen crazy jumps, and if you haven't seen the movie, well, now you know why. That is why those books have been jumping, because now everybody's on the, oh my God, Tom Holland black suit. And the argument happens with, okay, what's the first appearance of the black suit? And everybody who has the different book is going to argue, right? But we finally have Venom, a true Venom in this universe. It's not going to be Tom Hardy, doesn't look like, because that Venom is back. So we'll see. But this is probably all leading up to Secret Wars. Now that's going to be a long ways away, but again, we now have a Venom in this universe.
Yep. Definitely scooped up my Marvel Team Up 141. It was the only one I was missing for the trifecta. And once I saw that, I said, fuck, man, people are going to be jumping. So get ahead of it. So here's a few things I'm going to point out. First off, great picture with Eddie Brock with the chicken. Fucking epic scene. But so the drop of goo, and he ends up back in his universe. Now, 3 characters that I see in the MCU that could probably end up with it. We end up getting an actual Eddie Brock from the MCU universe. We either get Flash Thompson, or we end up with Peter Parker just getting the black suit.
Now, I don't know if we get Flash Thompson because he's at MIT.
I'm just saying the possibilities. Those are the 3 I see. Flash being the complete last one for sure. But Eddie Brock, and this is going to answer some of the questions that people brought up earlier. Eddie Brock goes back to his universe. One Piece stays behind. Symbiotes in the MCU officially. Great. Now, when it comes to Venom, guys, look, Venom itself brought in good numbers even during the pandemic, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I think that Venom, the last one sucked. I think the first one sucked. I don't like the direction they're going with Venom. But whenever we were discussing Venom on prior shows, you and I and Face, we've said it many times. If there was ever a Spider-Man that this universe, like this Venom, fits with, it's Andrew Garfield. It feels like he's from that universe, right? When you watch the movies. So, Tom Holland fought Thanos. He fought his alien. Tobey Maguire fought his alien. They opened the door and redeemed Andrew Garfield. They're announcing that they're already looking. I think they already started filming Venom 3. Yeah. I don't think they're going to waste time.
I don't know if they started filming. I think they're writing it.
Okay, whatever. It's in production or whatnot. I have no idea. I saw fucking somebody talking about Venom 3 as I was scrolling on IG. But I think if there's anybody, and they even put emphasis on how Andrew Garfield never got to fight any kind of alien. I really think this is the route they're going to go. I think that's how Andrew Garfield comes back as a Spider-Man. We'll find out that this is from this particular universe. If there's ever going to be a crossover, it would be Secret Wars. And that's where we get a clean slate again.
Man, I don't know. I think probably the most likely route is to just bring in.
Base, hold on a second. I literally thought the way you started that, I thought you were gonna be like, no. I literally thought you were gonna just destroy
it just feels like the most likely route is to bring in their own version of Eddie Brock. They don't even have to use Tom Hardy. Obviously, they've brought in multiple different versions of Peter Parker in this movie that look different, and everybody's perfectly fine with accepting that and everything like that. So they don't have to use Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock in this universe. So they can save a little bit of money on not having to cast as big a name of an actor. I think they could use Andrew Garfield in some shit, where he could come back in certain ways. I'm not really sure about like in a Venom type of role though. It's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible because obviously
I think in Doctor Strange, the black suit on. I think Doctor Strange 2 is probably going to really be what kicks everything off. And I think there's a reason. Again, remember, I had reported this, and we talked. I mean, I didn't report it, but like we talked about it on the show a few weeks ago, where Benedict Cumberbatch is right now currently filming 6 days a week for 6 weeks because they are reshooting Doctor Strange. I think that they're doing and adding to what's going on. I think they might have gotten like different things, but I really do think that Doctor Strange movie is going to open up a lot of doors. I think it's going to answer a few things, but like every Marvel movie, it's going to have its questions as well, right? We're going to get some answers and then it's going to close. But I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to be the one that just kind of maybe puts everything into perspective because it's different realms, it's different world, different characters, different multiverses, things like that. So just saying, we could get some answers there. I think we should just slow down on the jump. I mean, we just saw this now and people are now expecting Secret Wars to happen in 6 months or Tom Holland have the black suit in 6 months. Like, just relax. It could happen where, maybe he gets pissed off and fights Hobgoblin or something like that. Or, he gets pissed off the fact that he's alone, doesn't have MJ, something like that. Then the symbiote takes over Peter. Who knows? But that's a few years away, man. That's not happening in 6 months' time. So let's just relax.
Well, maybe at the end of the next Spider-Man movie, it would kind of make sense if he were to let's just play it out this way, okay? Let's say it is Ned who becomes Hobgoblin. He ends up in a fight with him to the point where Ned ends up dying. Ned dies. He's at his darkest, his lowest point. You know what I mean? Nobody knows who the fuck he is. Black suit and end scene, and then we'll get Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Like who knows? But there's tons of possibilities, as we said. I really feel like Eddie Brock going back to his universe, because that symbiote, bro, it recognized Spidey on TV. It recognized Spidey. It even mentions it's done billions of years of shit, right? It recognizes Spider-Man. Has it bonded prior with a Spider-Man? We don't know. But like I said, they put emphasis on the fact that Andrew Garfield never had any epic battle with aliens or anything. They really redeemed the character. I really feel that he's going to be in the universe with Tom Hardy. It's just my gut feeling.
I think Vancouver's onto something right there.
Yeah, I think the fact that he shaved his beard off, he might have did some nerve damage, and then it went. I don't know, guys. I didn't say this, but
Vancouver had the beard game going strong. It looked good, man. I liked it.
Yo, BC really just wants Andrew Garfield to be a fucking alien, though. He just wants more Andrew Garfield. He doesn't care if I get him. That's what it is right now.
I just want him to have his movie. That's it.
I could tell you're on that train.
No, man. Just when you look at the movie and how they put emphasis on it, even when Venom first came along, Venom 1, Venom 2, I just felt like fucking Venom fits in the Andrew Garfield universe. It never fit in Tobey Maguire's universe, right? Because it was, bro, fucking, they looked like Power Rangers. Like, literally, Goblin looked like a Power Ranger when we first saw it, right? Like, it was too corny. It was way too corny. Venom did not fit. Even when we did get Venom in Spider-Man 3, look what we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Venom, I mean, that felt more like a studio decision than anything.
Yeah, that's fine. Call it what it is. But regardless of the fact we're looking at that timeline, there is a Venom. It's already happened. Now we're getting this MCU where we get that little drip of the symbiote in the MCU. So I feel like that is it's symbolizing that that's going to have its own route now. It's going to have its own story. Eddie Brock goes back to his timeline. It makes perfect sense that his timeline be Andrew Garfield. That universe, not timeline, but that universe is where Andrew Garfield is. I'm pretty positive it would make the most sense if I had to bank on any of the current Spider-Mans that exist in cinema.
It's possible.
So I know, we already got a very fucking shitty version of Carnage, right?
No, that was the greatest thing ever, according to
some
people.
No, yeah. Dear God. But
that 9.8, I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that should be buying like Teslas with that book now.
But it's
pretty expensive. I mean, it's still Carnage.
But like I was saying, this entire movie closed many chapters, but also opened the door. If they want to make another movie with Tobey Maguire, they can. If they want to make another movie with Andrew Garfield, they can. So don't rule it out, is all I'm saying. If they were to go that route, I see more Andrew Garfield than Tobey Maguire. That's all.
I mean,
You
I
know-
could see it just because it's fucking Sony and it sounds like a bad idea.
There you go.
Well, you know what I'm interested to see is, well, there is a bunch of what if characters that had just been released. So we got Gargantua. BC, help me out here. Gargantuous. Yeah. So we get that character from What If.
Sorry.
We get
Gargantos, by the way.
yeah, what's the name of this character? I just call him Evil Doctor Strange, but Ozzy always tells me it's like neck. I forget the name, but basically it's the evil Doctor Strange from the What If. So we have a few characters from the What If coming. So at the end of this movie, you get the trailer. So there's one end credit, the Tom Holland going back, and then we get the trailer for Doctor Strange 2. In Doctor Strange 2, we see everything. The multiverse, he comes to Wanda. We go back to the wedding. So if you remember the first, yeah, that's what it is, man. I don't even know if I can pronounce this, to be honest with you.
Necromancer.
Necromancer, yeah.
I'm just gonna call it Evil Doctor Strange. That's where I'm going with it. I just don't really want to say that. But we get, I think her name is Rachel, like the lady, the chick that he's like dating or whatever, Rachel McAdams character.
Christine.
Right? Yeah, Christine, sorry.
Baldwin.
We see a scene of like her wedding and things like that there. We see the multiverse. Brother Voodoo's got dreads. We see different realms. There's that scene with the purple smoke and then black smoke and things like that. There could be a lot of characters coming. We just leaked on Sunday's show. We leaked that Hasbro leaked out some stuff for the toys. We saw America Chavez in the background. They didn't really focus on her too much, but you do see that she's there. It does seem like Doctor Strange and Wanda are going to team up, but I have a funny feeling that Wanda is going to turn at some point. I just kind of have a feeling. It did give me some goosebumps though, because he finds Wanda and then Wanda's like, oh no, is this about what happened in, I forget what the city's called when she did WandaVision, the city.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, that's not what this is about. That's not important. I need you for something else. And then they like walk off, and it kind of gave me goosebumps because I'm like, oh my God, something worse than that. Right. So this is going to be a lot of magic. We do see the multiverses and stuff like that. There is that scene in the trailer where they open the door and America Chavez, Wanda, Doctor Strange, and somebody else, they're looking out and they're seeing all the multiverses and all the doorways and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be crazy. Yeah, West Haven. Thanks, Dan. I think this is going to be crazy. But this character shows up at the end of the trailer and he says a line from the What If. I can't remember what the line is, but basically this is going to be one of the characters that is going to be introduced and maybe has a long future, or maybe it's just a one battle and done. I don't think it's going to be a one battle and done. I really don't.
I remember when we were having the debate on which What If character would come into the MCU, the two we picked was this and Peggy.
Yeah. I picked the villain too. I picked Gargantua.
No, I was saying it was going to be Shuma Gorath.
Yeah, I didn't. I said Peggy and I said that thing, and then we agreed with this one too. So we were kind of on it. So that's
I still think that we might get Shuma within the Doctor Strange movie. You know what I mean? Maybe Gargantos is in the movie because even
wasn't there rumors about Shuma Gorath showing up in the Doctor Strange movie?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is because in the trailer they show Gargantos, and dude, like even in comics, Gargantos, like how many comics is he in? Like what, 2, 3?
Look, it's got to be a one and done. There's no way a fucking squid is gonna
for sure.
Like, fucking
maybe they're battling Gargantos, and then here you go, enter fucking Shuma Gorath, bro. Once they finally defeat, you know what I mean? This is the only way I see it playing out. When we talk about this particular character, I love it, bro. First off, Mordo looks fucking badass in the trailer. At the end of Doctor Strange 1, when he tells him like kind of like you and I can't, we don't see eye to eye type thing. I need to go my own way.
Yeah.
Now we see why. When he tells him that the biggest threat to the universe is you, now we know why. It's I gotta say, I think this movie is gonna be absolutely incredible. Mindfuck. It literally the first one had the Inception feel. You know what I mean with all the universe. Shit, fucking going up and down like the cities, the buildings flipping this way that way, like it was doing in Spider-Man. I'm pumped as hell because now they're doing it with the multiverse, and you even see America Chavez. You see her jacket very quickly, and then you also see when they open that door where it's like the multiverse and the door shifting, she's standing there as well. And everybody knows America Chavez, knows her powers. I think she's going to be very big in this movie. You and I were talking on possibilities. I still have faith as well, and I'm hopeful, especially with all this multiverse crossover, the Illuminati, bro. We mentioned this.
I think, yeah, I've been talking about that for a very long time. I think that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I think we get that. I also think, you know, and it might not be everybody's favorite, and I don't know if there's been like people talking about this, but I had mentioned that I think Professor X is introduced in this movie. I really do.
would be awesome, man.
Yeah, I personally think that is going to be an introduction to maybe X-Men or anything like that. But I think Professor X has got something obviously to do with the Illuminati and things like that. So I'm expecting Professor X in this movie. I'm expecting some Illuminati grouping or members to show up in this one. Write it down. December 20th, 11/17.
21st, bro. It's twice you get the date wrong.
What?
It's the 21st.
Or 21st. Is this one? Oh, right. Yeah, it is. Because, yeah. December 21st, 11:17 p.m. Eastern time. You heard it here first.
But I just want to say, Ozzy, yes, exactly what I was trying to say. Look at all the trailers we've gotten up until now. I'll just use Spider-Man, the last one, the No Way Home. We got so much shown in the trailers, but like I remember watching the trailer and I'm like, man, they gave out too much fucking info. But then when I watched the movie, they did not. They really did not. The battle on the bridge where you see Goblin, you thought shit was gonna go down. Literally, they end up back in that place where they're keeping all the villains. You know what I mean? So I agree. I really think Gargantos is just a swerve. It's a minor, fight that's gonna take place. It's gonna burn them to shit, and then after, insert fucking Shuma Gorath, and then they're gonna be like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? That's my feel.
Yeah, I mean it makes some kind of sense. I like Shuma better for the Doctor Strange movie than Gargantos, but Gargantos could just be one of those things thrown in and kind of like as an obstacle to be put in their path, whatever. As far as this what if character, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do here because like it doesn't. It would need, I guess, some kind of validation for it to be, the exact same character from the What If series because, he kind of turned back sort of toward the good side there at the end, and he was gonna basically keep Killmonger and Ultron and Zola, locked in that universe. So they would just need to kind of validate that in some way, I guess. Why would he, be here? Why would he suddenly turn, back just as quick or whatever? But it could just be, a different version of Doctor Strange too. There's a lot of options there. So either way, I'm sure they'll make it make sense however they do it.
I do wonder, like you were saying, is it really the what if character, or
that's the thing. It could just be a different, similar version to that what if character, or it could be that character that they'll validate in some way. Who knows what they're gonna do there?
Because we all know that what if is coming back for season 2. You know what I mean? If they're gonna bring this particular character back into the what if, it kind of makes sense to have him hop into the MCU and then hop back into the what if in an animation form. It would be cool if they do that, but will they? Who knows? Maybe it's just a different one.
But yeah, definitely excited about the Doctor Strange movie. It's gonna open up a lot more possibilities for the MCU than are already there, and those possibilities over the last year, 2 years have just fucking expanded very quickly, and it's just continuing to do so. It's pretty awesome. Good time to be a fan of comics and comic book movies.
Fuck yeah.
Now, BC, the last thing we need to touch on, and I'll give you the honors that I didn't put up, but the back to basics Spider-Man. So the suit. So at the end of this Spider-Man, he gets the apartment. He, has nobody. He has no family. He has no friends. Nobody remembers him. So he's got a shitty apartment. He's going back to the basics. That's where you see the GED book. So he's got to study, obviously, to get everything because, again, nobody remembers him. And then we see him basically don the Spider-Man suit that
classic as hell, bro.
Yeah, the classic from the cartoon show. So he doesn't have the nanotech anymore or anything like that.
Straight from
literally
the OG comics.
From the comics, from the cartoon, everything. So that's what you see. And then the movie ends. So we get a back to basics, and that's what BC was talking about. Spider-Man.
Yep. I'm excited as hell about that, man. Does he still have any of that Stark tech? I have no idea.
He probably does. It's just he probably noticed that the other Spider-Man didn't, and the fact that they made their own suits, right? Because that was talked about, where he even said, he's like, you guys made your own suits, right? Yeah. So
I just want to point something out before I forget, and then we'll get back to this. But you guys saw Eternals. There was DC references. What did you guys think of Flash with the Flashpoint book?
I didn't even clue into that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. No, but have you noticed Marvel keeps doing this? Are they doing it intentionally to acknowledge?
Probably.
Yeah, because it's now 2 occasions where I'm noticing they're doing this in the movies. They brought up Batman, they brought up Superman, and now Flash. So it's just funny. That's all I want to say. But back to basics. When the Department of Damage Control shows up to take the photos, they take the photos, and as you're looking at what they're taking photos of, there's Edith. Did they confiscate it? Does Peter still have Edith? Little things like that. The machine, I guess, got totally destroyed there. The fucking arm thing. Remember when the fight went down in the condo? Most of it seems destroyed. Peter's the only one who remembers everybody. No one knows who Peter is. Spider-Man was there to help the Avengers, but now the Avengers don't know who he is. He knows who everybody is. Does that make him a more important member in the Avengers in a sense of, does he have the capacity of even leading it eventually? You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious as to what route they're going to go with Spider-Man in a team now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see him putting Spidey in the leadership position on the Avengers, mostly just because they don't need to, but having them tag team with them every now and then, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I really enjoyed the movie. I like what it, we can finally stop talking about it. I think this was like the worst kept secret for the past 4 months of what was gonna happen in this movie. And
oh, dude, one last thing. Do you remember? Because once I knew we were doing this show, I went back to watch a few movies. I remember you got hyped as shit when the trailer dropped and Doc Ock's arm,
yes,
it bonded with the nanotech.
Yep.
Basically, in the Spider-Man 2 movie, Doc Ock, you remember Harry Osborn was like, "We're happy to pay the bills, Otto," because
yes,
the Oscorp, made the arms, and when Peter meets Norman Osborn for the first time, he talks about how he did research on his nanotech. So he said, I think he said something like, I read the article or whatnot on nanotech that you did. So I have a feeling there's a reason why they made it Bond so easily. Maybe something to go back and watch. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Purposely, because then Spider-Man, who was also wearing the suit made of nanotech, was able to, it was compatible with the arms, and he was able to control it.
Yeah.
So it is cool, right? Like,
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hidden stuff, right? There's a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The oh shit, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it was a good movie. I look forward to seeing where they go with the character. I mean, they could go anywhere and everywhere. So yeah, it's just gonna be real fun to see where they go with it. But yeah, that's the show, guys. Hopefully we didn't ruin the movie for anybody. Hopefully, if you didn't see the movie, you didn't come here. I appreciate
Right.
who didn't want to see this, or and that we didn't have any negative people. So that's good. Even though other channels have already talked about it. So yeah, that was really good. Quick announcement. I will be retiring from YouTube on Sunday.
Congrats.
I'm going to take a break. It is the holidays, so I'm going to be taking this Sunday off. So there will be no show on Sunday. Maybe I will drop a video. But other than that, yeah, there won't be a new comic book day news or spec. It is the holidays. I just want to spend some time with my family. So yeah.
Unacceptable, bro. Unacceptable.
Yeah, it's that old saying, right? I mean, you pay your taxes, you can do what you want. So yeah, that's what I'm choosing to do. So yeah, so Sunday, guys, I'll just drop a video, like a short 4 or 5 minute video or something like that, that I have ready to go instead of doing a show, and then we'll be back on Tuesday. So Tuesday we'll be doing the hottest comics of December or the whole year. I haven't decided which one we're gonna do. So AOA, no show, unsubscribe. Yeah. It's the holiday.
Right?
It's the holidays. So yeah.
You want someone to do your comic book day, bro? Huh? No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah. So don't, just spend the time with family. Yeah. So other than that, that's all from me. Guys, what do you guys got coming up? Let the people know.
Oh, Face, do you want to do this one or do I do this one?
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Guys, man, if you watched us last night, man, we had a fucking blast celebrating the holiday show. So thank everybody that came to hang out with us. Moonlit, Neighbor to the North, Ozzy, and Actual Dracula. Thank you guys for coming on the show with us as well. Next Monday, we're actually doing our monthly segment, which is Retrospect. What we do is we go back 3 years and 5 years of that particular month and look at books that dropped throughout the month and those books that we spec'd on. How did they pan out? Those highly hyped books, did they blow up? Did we miss out? Did they tank? It's just fun to go back in time and see what came out 3 to 5 years ago, because we tend to forget, yo. So yeah, do come check us out Monday. And don't forget, we have a 250 subscriber giveaway. We're very close, guys. So do take a moment, go subscribe. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So that's
what
it.
BC said.
Last show before the holidays. I hope everybody has a wonderful whatever you celebrate, because I don't want to offend anybody. So enjoy the holidays. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you do, have a safe ride home. Don't be stupid. Yeah, and I hope everybody gets what they want. I hope if anybody gets a Tales of Suspense 39, they A-OK it to me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Big dreams. Big dreams.
Hey, it's only a dream until it happens to you. So yeah, so we'll be back. I forget where I heard that from. It's only a dream until it happens. Yeah. So yeah, other than that, that's the show. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I know spoiler shows aren't really the thing until like a month later, but hey, it is what it is. We wanted to talk about it before we hit the holidays. So yeah, enjoy New Comic Book Day tomorrow.
There it is. Constantino. Bon Natal. Feliz Navidad. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, bro. I know we're a bit late, but whatever.
I was gonna say a little bit late. Yeah, enjoy New Comic Book Day tomorrow. Enjoy Hawkeye, the finale. That is it. So hopefully we get more Kingpin or whatever. It's gonna be crazy to see if maybe Daredevil shows up. Who knows? But
Yeah.
it's gonna be dope. Enjoy it all. Don't spoil it. And yeah, that's the show. Enjoy the holidays. We will see you guys. Well, you'll see the Kingpins on Monday. You'll see the Newbieverse on Tuesday. Enjoy the holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Out.
Later,
Peace.
guys.